Michael Plusek here, and welcome to this video. It's transformation time, and this video is all about transformation. So I'm going to share some things with you that really have helped myself in my own transformation and also helped a lot of clients. Just the knowledge of this has meant a lot to a lot of people. So I got an example for you, and this is like when I go to the gym, and probably you know or heard of this too. Some people, it's like the gyms, they have I think it's like 70 or 60% of who actually pays shows up, or maybe it's even lower, which means there's a lot of people who buys a fitness card, which means that they can go and do fitness, and then they don't show up. Now the thing is, for people who want a body that looks fit, it's not enough to buy the access to the fitness, to the gym, right? Makes sense, right? You need to actually go there and do the work. And I say this because I know some people, probably not you, I hope that's not you, they enter this program, they follow the videos, and then there's one thing they don't do, and that's actually the work that needs to be done. The sweat that needs to be done. And like I mentioned in week number 1, you're the one who needs to do the push-ups. So it doesn't work if we don't do the work. Your vision, your goals, all the stuff, when you do the things in the videos for all the weeks, when you show up on the calls, when you are in the Facebook group, it works. A lot of clients experience a lot of great results. But like with the fitness stuff, not showing up, not doing the work, it doesn't work. So I know that you're better than that. There's part of you that's better than that. So I really urge you, I want you to look for that part and make sure you just dive into this. This week is to help you to really make sure that you do the work, because do the work and the results, they will follow. So this video, this week, what we'll cover is, first of all, I'm going to talk about the biggest problem when we're talking about achieving goals. Then we'll dive into why these problems are there. I'll share my story with you. I'm gonna share a drawing about the human being, which when I saw that first time, it made a lot of sense for me, and that's why I'm sharing it with you and my clients. And then I'm going to talk about the rubber band effect. What is it actually that's holding us back, and why is that? And then how can we escape the rubber band effect? Escaping the rubber band effect. So we are not being held back. I will talk about that and also share some techniques with you. And then we're going to talk about the garden of the mind. This is very powerful stuff, and understanding this and working with this, it's so powerful that this video alone could change your whole life. And this is not just something that I'm saying. Clients of mine told me that this is the actual truth. Then we're going to dive into what you focus on, how important that is. And I got an exercise for you there. And then we're going to talk about transformation and staying in the heat. And then I took this last point with me because some clients, they ask, when will this happen? Some happens fast, some takes longer. I'll dive into this with you too. So it's going to be a powerful and a lot of stuff in this video, and we're going to jump right into it right now. So the biggest problems when we talk about achieving goals, we actually talked about this before. I mentioned it in the video where we talked about action. So you're probably here because you want to achieve your vision, your goals. You want to become financial free. You want to achieve success in your life, whatever that is for you and in your business. And you want to be happy, and probably also you want love in your life. And maybe some of the things are very good, maybe some of them are not. So the problem is, why doesn't people achieve these things? 3 words. I should have done, I would have done, I could have done, but I didn't. And that's a problem. Like I mentioned with the fitness example in the gym. Yeah, I should have gone to the gym today, but I didn't. Well, I would really love to go to the gym today, but I did not. Yeah, I could have gone to the gym, but I did not. The result, day after day, coming with these kind of excuses is, well, not being fit. Makes sense, right? Same thing, and that's why we put in the tracking. That's why I did these things, to help you to really make sure that you do the work. So this is really your decision, and we talked about decision before, cutting off all the stuff that's not serving you so you get to your goal as fast as possible. It's your choice. You want to go for success or you want to go for failure? Because once again, the biggest problem is you. And we had a similar picture before, but that was with a cat and a lion. This time we got a young and then we got an older version. And who's looking at who? Is it the young guy looking in the mirrors and thinking, oh, I am old, I am not fit anymore? Or is it the other guy looking in the mirror and thinking, wow, I am still young and good looking? When we're looking in the mirror and what we see, that's exactly where our biggest problem is when we talk about reaching our goals. So why are these problems here? When we talk about me, you being the biggest problem, it's like it's thoughts, it's feelings or emotions, and it's the fact that our mechanism is designed to save energy. And save energy means stay in comfort. Stay comfortable. Looks nice, huh? Lying there, maybe got a good big dinner, watching television, just taking a nap. Really comfortable. And not going to the gym or the fitness studio and get fit. And that's the big problem, because we are designed to stay comfortable. Which means if we look back, this is what we should do, but this is what we feel like doing. And for some people, if we don't get into the habit of getting to the gym, this is what our thoughts or feelings tells us to do. We could go here, but then a thought might come up and say, oh, I'm so tired, I can't handle this today, so I'm going to do this. And then on the couch. Or, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym, but then pops up an emotion saying, no, I don't feel like going to the gym today. I feel like staying comfortable. That is the big problem. We are designed to stay comfortable. And it's very ironic, because staying comfortable in the couch, as an example, would get you this result. Right? It's going kind of in the bad direction here, unless it's an experiment. But I think you'll agree with me. That's what's going to happen. So, your thoughts and your emotions will do whatever it takes to keep you in the couch and it's so important to understand this. It's really important, and I'm gonna dive deeper into this now. Before I do that, I'm gonna share my story with you. Some of it I told before. Some of it you may have been seeing in the first ad when you contacted me or something like that. But the story is that I have been most of my life very insecure. Even though I had great jobs, did some very good stuff, inside I didn't feel good. I couldn't look people in the eyes. I was not good standing in front of people. I still have a problem with that sometimes. But I laid awake for nights if I had to speak to people. I was broke for many years, and I was a bad boy in many ways. And bad boy means I did a lot of bad stuff, things that I'm not proud of, but that was part of my journey. I was on the wrong side. And I was laughing, I was smiling on the outside, but on the inside, I didn't feel good. I always worked hard, but I didn't take the easy way. And what I found out, one of my biggest problems was, it comes here, and I actually found a word for this, atelophobia, the fear of imperfection, of not being enough. So this was very, at the time when I figured this one out, it was very hurtful to me. It hurted. It was like I saw it, but I didn't want to see it. I looked in the mirror, but I didn't want to see it. But when I finally accepted that that was the feeling that I had, I also understood that I needed to do something. So what I experienced with many of my clients, not all, but they have the same thing. They want to do things perfect. And we talked about this before. And even in this video, there was one spelling error, but I'm not doing it all over because I could continue and continue. And this is kind of the training here too. So the fear of being imperfect, that fear will lead us to not take the right actions because we're so afraid of doing things not perfect. And also we are afraid of not being enough. I've heard clients that when we dived into it on a call, the root of the problem was not if the pitch was not good enough, it was not if the product was not good enough. Actually, the root of the problem was that the client was not feeling good enough. And that emotion, that feeling, is not only something the client will feel, that's insecure, and that is something that prospect clients will feel too. As we talked about when we talked about selling, we need to be confident, we need to be the alpha. And it's very difficult to be the alpha if we don't feel perfect or we have this fear of not being enough. So I guess for you, some of you this makes sense and you can relate to this, and some of you might think, well, that's no problem. And if you have that one, I just say congratulations to you. It's very good. Then you can just rock on. So at least I needed to do something. So one of the things that I read a lot of books, I joined a lot of seminars to figure out, okay, what can I improve? What can I do different here? And one thing that came to me that helped me a lot was this drawing of the human being, which really helped me to understand how our mechanism works. And it looks like this. This is a body and a head. You see the head is biggest. And we got the conscious mind, and we got the subconscious mind, and then we got the body. And this drawing is actually from a Dr. Thurman Fleet, and I think it's back in 1834 he drew this, and it's still working very good to explain. So you see I drawn a T, an A, and an F. Conscious, there's a T. That's for thought or thinking. Subconscious, this is an A. This is for automatic. And body, this is an F. This is for feeling. So let's go into this. And let me give you the explanation of how I see this and what have helped me and a lot of clients. Conscious is what you think, what I think. So when I sit down, you sit down, do an exercise, and really focus your mind on taking a decision or putting down your goals or something like this. This is your conscious part of the brain you're using, your thinking. What's interesting is that science shows we can think one thought at a time, one conscious thought at a time. That's why in week number 1, I had you really to clean up your desk, clean up your desktop on the computer, clean up your emails list and all of these things, because we don't want to focus on a lot of stuff. We want to really be focused on 1 or 2 things maximum, but one thing. So the next thing is the automatic, the autopilot. That's the subconscious. And the subconscious, what is interesting here is that's all our habits. That's all that's in our program, what we're programmed to. We talked about that earlier too. So if I'm programmed and I have programmed myself to do a lot of calls each day, that's not gonna be a problem, because that's on autopilot now. If I programmed myself to go to the gym 3 times a week, then I'm gonna go to the gym 3 times a week. It's not a problem because it's on autopilot. And what could be a problem is that if I go down to 2 times a week, it will feel very not good for me. Or if I want to go to 4 times a week, it's also going to be uncomfortable, because now it's on autopilot. My program is 3 times gym per week. So this is for a lot of stuff. It's for the habits. That's why when I ask people at my events earlier, I said, okay, what is 2 plus 2? And everybody said 4. I said, okay, how do you say love in Danish? Oh, it's kærlighed. Okay. How do you say I love you? Jeg elsker dig. These things are all put in our program because we trained them over and over again in school. So we practiced it, and suddenly they became a part of our autopilot, and we could just say and do the stuff. So this also goes with emotions and I'm going to say this thoughts. We're diving into this now because this subconscious, it's like a big computer. It's just all the data that we got during our life, it's in there. So, and it's running all the time. That's why I write out automatically here. It's running all the time. So if we had some bad experiences and we are outrunning our business, anything that looks like those bad experiences will turn into an emotion or a bad thought. Mostly this happens. This is just running all the time. So the thing here is we need to train ourselves to become the person that will run the business that we want to run. So that's on autopilot. There's a couple of not exercises but examples here that I want to share with you, because this is about thinking one thing and the autopilot. The autopilot, that a lot of things can happen there. That's why we can some people, they can juggle with 3-4 balls. They can do that. They train for that. We can't do that. You can take your right arm right now, just wave it up and down. Your left arm, I'm doing that now too, and just up and down, and then you can nod your head. All of these things you can do. You can try to do that now and see it works. Right hand up and down, left hand maybe also up and down, and head shake it to the sides. You can do that. That's on autopilot because your body remembers this, it understands this. You just tell it to do it and it'll do it. So here comes an example. Maybe you tried this. Maybe you sit and read a book, and then suddenly there's something in the TV or radio, and your mind goes toward what's in the news there. You listen to it, your conscious mind is listening to the radio or TV now. And then at a point, okay, I don't want to listen to that more, you go back to the book. And you realize that you actually read like 5 or 10 pages in the book while you listen to the radio. You tried this? This is exactly what happens in us. So the conscious mind was not focusing on the book, which it should have done. It's very tricky because there was something else very interesting, so it went over there. But the autopilot, the subconscious mind, it just went on reading. So it's in there, but it's not sure you can remember it because you were not focusing, and we need to do that. So that was one example how this runs. Another example, I tried this many times until I really understood what happened. Maybe you can relate to this too. Bike, bus, car, doesn't really matter. Tried it all. So I sit in my car and I drive home. But then maybe I have a phone conversation, and of course it's not with the phone in my hand, but I have a phone conversation, or I'm listening to something that I really want to listen to. So my conscious mind is with the conversation or with the things that I'm listening to. And then suddenly I realize that I'm at the front of my door with my keys in my hand. And I'm like, wow, how did this happen? Same thing. Our conscious mind was concentrating about the thing, the conversation, or what I was listening to. But my subconscious mind understand the road to my home, where the key are. And it did all of this for me. Make sense? So the thing here is to make sure that we program our subconscious mind to success. We need to put our thinking into this. We need to really be focused. And you did these exercises, decide what you want, and then we need to train these things. Good. Then there's the body, feeling and emotions. This is it's gonna make sense later on in this video, all of this to you. I believe it makes sense now, but it also makes sense why I'm telling these things. Well, the body is a mechanism, and all the stuff that we experience, like I said, it's in our program, it's in our subconscious mind. And when we have a feeling or an emotion, it's triggered by our mind. So if we didn't have the mind, we wouldn't be able to experience the feeling. And this is because something is happening now that we experienced before in our life, something that could be related to. And then this time it's the body telling us, wow, here's something that is uncomfortable. Here's something that we need to be aware of, and maybe we need to fear it. So an emotion shows up to tell us, here is something that is not good, or could be good too. This person is really nice, I really like her or him, feels good, or doesn't feel good. So the emotion is showing us something that the mind maybe not is telling us. Good. Now, about this autopilot system, you got the 5 senses, the 5, I call them antennas, and this picture shows why. The 5 senses. This is the way for all of the outside world to get into the inside world, and the inside world is our thinking, our autopilot, and our feelings. That's the inside world. But the only way that we could get from the outside to the inside is our senses. So we have our antennas out and they take in data, and let us go back here, our mind looks at all the data, a little part of it, and you see this says more than 90% in the subconscious mind, so a little part of all the data will be in our conscious mind, so we're actually aware of it, but mostly it's just data coming in all the time. So the antenna is there to connect our inside with the outside world. And again, if we go back here, this means that if you're looking at the thinking and the autopilot, this is where in the mind that the antennas, they take in the data. Sometimes it's going to be the mind, I'm going to tell you something more about this, that will react to it, and sometimes it's going to be the body. Some people will have most feelings when they get afraid or when they really see something, experience something good. And some people, they are more in the head. There's no right or wrong here. It's just like, that's how it is. So this brings us to the rubber band effect. Here we got the comfort zone. And we talked about comfort, staying in the couch. That's comfort zone. It's very nice. I love it. But staying there, as I showed with the picture, it will only lead us one way. But that's a physical example. It's the same thing. Well, I don't want to take the calls today. No, I don't want to sit down and do my work today. No, I will not look this video to the finish. It's more comfortable for me. I'll do it another day. It's more comfortable. But that will lead us to, we didn't get in the trainings from the video, we didn't do the calls, which means we lost some sales. All of this will take us away from our goals. So when we are in the comfort zone, we are away from our goals. The green one is, like we say here, the optimal performance zone. That's where growth is happening. This is here where we learn. This is here where we challenge ourselves. We are growing here. That's in the green one. The red one here on this picture is called the danger zone. And it's called that in many people's experiences because it's dangerous when we get out there. That's where we get exhausted, or where we have trained too much, or where stress comes in and all of that. But I'm going to challenge that later on, because the danger zone is mostly just a belief. The important thing now to understand is that the comfort zone is where you don't want to be. Part of you really want you to be there, but the part that wants you to achieve your vision and your goals, that part don't want to be in the comfort zone. So when our body is telling us, oh, this doesn't feel good, great, do it. When our mind is telling us, well, don't do it, do it. Because it's our body and our mind trying to save energy, trying to keep us in the comfort zone. And if you remember, we can go back actually and look at this. If you remember these two, there we go. This guy, this woman or this guy, he stays in the comfort. He saves energy. This one, she goes out. She invests a lot of energy. Who of those two do you think is most energetic? This one, he saved the energy. His mind or body told him to lay in the couch, or this one who went out and invested energy? Yeah, this one, right? She would be the one with most energy. So again, it's very tricky because the mind wants to keep us comfortable, but comfortable, we don't want to be there. So it's either grow or die. And grow in this case is the fitness model, and die is the one staying in the comfort zone. And that's how it is. That's how nature is. It's how everything in life is. Of course, sometimes we need to relax. Sometimes we need to recover. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the everyday life. Either you grow or you die. Either your business grow or your business die. Some of my clients experienced this. They didn't do the work they needed to do. They knew it, but it was uncomfortable. So instead, nice and easily, they stayed in their comfort zone. They didn't do the calls. They didn't do the sales. They didn't fire the persons. All of these things because it was not comfortable. But the fact is, after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, result is that they might be very close to closing their business. So what we want is to grow. We want to make sure we keep putting ourselves out of the comfort zone. And the rubber band effect looks like this. So our comfort zone is what we are used to, what we trained ourselves to, maybe by choice, or maybe someone else trained us to do this when we didn't really understood it. And it's like we want to go out there and achieve our goals, but the rubber band is just like dragging us into the comfort zone. So it's getting very hard to get out there where we can perform, where we can grow, where we will experience more sales and all of that. And the mechanism is so tricky. You get this one? The mechanism is so tricky. And we want to escape this rubber band effect. Really want to escape this. So again, the human being, when we get out of the comfort zone, either or both, either our body, a feeling, emotion will rise, and something like, this doesn't feel good. I'm getting scared now. This frightens me. Or part of our mind goes like, and this can be a very big part. I'm still gonna come back to this later on, but gonna tell a lot of stories about what could happen if we went out there. This is all just a mechanism for keeping us saving energy, comfortable. And once again, we don't want that. So the little voice and some techniques. This is the mind thing. So we let's say you created a goal. You want to go there. You said you want to do 50 calls a day. You are sitting there, you pick up the phone, you look at it, and then your mind goes, this is what's happening is you are stepping out of your comfort zone now if this is not your program. So your mind might go like this. Maybe it's better to call tomorrow. Or maybe I should take care of that thing first. Or maybe I should call my mother first. And it's very tricky. It's not like it comes like you could do this or this. It's like really telling you to do the other stuff. And that's exactly the little voice. So the little voice, I call it like this. One of my mentors teach me this, and he's he's been working with the little voice all of his life. The little voice is that part of us that the mind thing connected with the part of us that want to keep us safe energy. And it's kind of ironic to call it little voice because this little voice can actually be really big. And I just mean really big. For instance, it can sound like it could even be like a God talking to us, saying, don't go there. But it is a little voice, and that's very important to understand. And some people, they say, what little voice? I don't have a little voice. And that's actually the little voice talking and trying to protect the person from stepping out of the comfort zone. So by now you should understand what the little voice is. It's just part of you trying to keep you in the comfort zone, and you don't want that. So here's 5 techniques, simple, not necessarily easy, simple. One thing is when this little voice is showing up and trying to stop you from doing what you need to do to get to where you want to be. When this happens, some people, they get very frustrated with themselves. they get very like beginning to actually, if they had a stick, they would throw it in their own head. They would bang themselves in the head and say, "You stupid, I am stupid," and blah blah blah. But don't do that. The first technique is actually just say thank you. And I mean it. Say it out loud. Thank you for sharing. The little voice is sharing that you are going outside of your comfort zone. You are beginning to grow now, and it doesn't want you to. So just say thank you for sharing. Don't beat it up. Don't be cruel. Just be nice. You want to become a friend with your little voice. So just thank you. And then with your conscious mind, decide to do it anyway. And step number 2. This could be a little bit more dramatic, but sometimes this is what works for people, and you're gonna figure out. You got all 5 steps here. You can figure out what works for you. Try some of those, maybe try them all, and sometimes some work, sometimes other things work. But this one is like when the little voice get crazy and the thoughts just keep coming, one thought and the next thought, and they are getting worse and worse. One thing could be just to go like this: stop! And really move your body while you're doing this, because you want to get out of that circle that's running on in your mind right now. Because one thing is like magnets. One negative thought with emotion attracts the next one, the next one, the next one, and the story just gets worse and worse. Then emotion begins to rise, and it's really getting worse. So just go like stop, and make it conscious. Again, think, now I'm going to look in another direction. Number 3, celebrate like a champion. So this really means that when the little voice is beginning to take over, again, decide. Figure out there's always something we can celebrate. Find something and celebrate it like a champion. That's why, as I mentioned again and again, I want you to go into the Facebook group and ring that bell. When something good is happening in your life, in your business, ring that bell. A team does that. B players don't do that. Don't be a B player. And it's a decision. Go in there and ring the bell like a champion. Be proud of yourself. Because this is like, the more you do this, ring the bell, celebrate yourself, it's also, you are training your little voice that here I am. And that's the bigger part of you. So next one, number 4, debrief. And this is actually a very good structured technique. So when, for some people, they messed up somehow, or the result was not as they wanted to, or they didn't do the work, and they are going crazy with themselves. They're beating themselves up. Like, you stupid, why? I knew I couldn't do it, and just keep on hammering themselves down. So 1, 2, 3, these steps, they work. Number 4 is a structured process, and find someone who can help you maybe, or do it by yourself. Train yourself to do this. It's actually a small process, just like what happened. Ask yourself that question, or sit and write it down. What happened here? Why did that happen? And what can I improve? What happened? Why did it happen? And what can I improve? So let's say, and I think we talked about this in an earlier video. Let's say that you didn't make the calls. So instead of beating yourself up, just sit down. Take 5 minutes, say what happened. Well, I didn't do the call. Why did that happen? Well, I called my mother. Well, I did the laundry. Well, I did an email. And you put all of these things down. So then you can go a little bit deeper and say, okay, why did that happen? And probably you'll figure out it's because your little voice took you out of the game. So now again, you can say to yourself, how can I improve? What can I improve? How can I improve? So you'll figure out a technique. I showed you some techniques earlier on in the program when we talked about the calls, taking action. So there's different techniques depending on what it is. But you'll figure it out, or jump in a Q&A call and ask about it, or on the Facebook. High jumpers is a really good example of this. And if you watch the Olympic Games or maybe the World Championship with high jumpers, you see them. This is a one-man sport, so they cannot think it was some of the team. If they didn't go over the bar, if they took the bar down, maybe you'll see them go and talk with themselves. They are doing exactly these things. Instead of bringing their mind down, and which would mean that when they went into the next jump, they would be at a lower level. They do the different things. They go and talk with themselves. Okay, why did it happen? What happened here? So they went through it. Then they go and talk with themselves and say, okay, I put this step first, then I did this. There was so many centimeters. Then I turned a little, and boom, there it was. My right foot was in a wrong angle. So this is nothing to do with the person. It's just the technique that wasn't working. So what can I improve? Well, I need to adjust my right foot in the next jump. I'll need to put it like 10 degrees or something like that more to the right. Okay, the jumper says that to himself, herself, and then they're ready for the next jump. Now, see what happened? They took it away from them being a disaster, and they looked at the process instead, seeing, okay, what can I improve? So it's getting more like technical stuff. Got it? Number 5. Imagine the most crazy story. Asking yourself what then happens. Now this technique, some people, they laugh at it and they say, well, that's kind of strange to imagine myself getting even worse. And so I say, okay, so what is happening in your mind right now? You talked about the event you're going to do on Monday. The speaking could be a client of mine. Yeah, so tell me what's going on. Well, yeah, but my mind, I begin to think that maybe they don't like me. Okay, so tell me that, what do you think then? Yeah, then I think that I go on stage and I will stutter, I will get sweaty, I won't pronounce the words, and say, okay, so, and what do you imagine then? Yeah, and then I'm thinking maybe they don't, it's not going to be good what I present, so they will not clap, and I'm going to be like a disaster. Okay, so this is what happens in the client's mind. So you are already inventing a story. This is not happening, right? This is just imagination. It's just imagination. And the client go, yeah, that's right. So why not make this imagination even more crazy and have some fun with it? So here we go again. Say, okay, so what happens? I'm on stage, I'm sweating, I'm getting nervous, people are not clapping. I say, okay, so what happens then? What's the next worst? What's the next worst thing? Yeah, well, somebody's laughing at me. Okay, so then make it even more crazy. Then what happens? Yeah, well, then I begin to cry. Okay, so you begin to cry on stage. Awful. So what's the next thing? Yeah, then more people laugh at me. Okay, then what? Yeah, let it be even more crazy. Yeah, then somebody throws a tomato at me. Okay, so someone throws a tomato at me. Make it even more crazy. Yeah, more people start throwing tomatoes at me. Okay, make it more crazy. What's then happening? Yeah, well, I'm peeing in my pants now because I'm so nervous. So you're peeing in your pants, and what then happens? Well, all of them stand up, they laugh at me, they get closer. Some of them is throwing apples at me now. Okay, so they're throwing apples at you. And make this even worse now. Yeah, then suddenly I got an apple in my eye and it hurts so much, so I'm beginning to cry, really cry. Okay, then what happens? Well, one of them is just jumping on the stage and just begins to beat me up because I'm crying. So continue, goes on and on. So might end up with the client saying, well, Then I went to the hospital and they laughed at me because of the whole story. And then I ended up being in a home for people with psychic problems. Crazy story, huh? But the thing is, what happens during this story is that the client at a point will say, no, this is too crazy. This is too crazy. This will never happen. Then we laugh. We say, okay, so when was it begin to be crazy? What will never happen? And we agree that actually the whole thing is just imagination. So this is kind of in a way to, if you can't stop and your mind is like dragging you in the wrong direction, a lot of negativity, just help your mind and make the story even more crazy until at a time you will go and say, hey, this is really too crazy now. And you can laugh and come back to normal stuff and doing the work. So 5 techniques here. Thank you, stop, celebrate like a champion, debrief what happened, why did that happen, and what can I improve, or how can I improve. And then number 5, imagine the most crazy story. What then happens? 5 techniques. So let's move on. We need to understand, we've got to understand that the mind is like a garden. Now this is a beautiful garden, right? Some people might say it's not my version of a garden. That's okay, but it's pretty beautiful. Got some flowers, it's good taken care of, it's kind of, yeah, it's neat. And our mind is like this. Our thoughts, if we don't train our mind, negative thoughts, they're like weeds. So this is in a normal garden, a garden like we saw before, we don't want weeds there. Because the weed will take all the food from the plants. The weed will take, when it grows, it will take the light, maybe even, and the water and all of this. So it's actually taking the energy that we need to the beautiful plants. So that's what wheat is doing. Wheat's actually destroying our garden if we want it to look beautiful. And the garden of mind will be exactly as you created. If you take good care of your garden of mind, it will grow beautiful. But if you don't cut out the weeds, the garden of the mind will not be pretty and will not deliver your desired results. It's your choice. It's your choice, which means we really need to take care of our thoughts. Good thoughts will bring in a beautiful garden. Bad thoughts is like weeds. So this one I make like a poster for you, so you can download it and put it on your wall, and it's here to help you, to remind you of taking care of the bad thoughts. You got this? Good. And if any questions, just jump into the Q&A calls and ask them. This is very powerful stuff. So that was the mind thing. Then there's emotions. Emotions, mind can take us out of the game, stay in the comfort zone by telling stories, and it's very, very tricky because it knows us. Emotion is tricky also. Emotions can pop up and tell, oh, I don't feel like this, or this feels like it's very dangerous and all of this, but it's only dangerous in our mind. Because emotions are just emotions. They're not dangerous. It's only in our mind. Yeah, we can feel it, but it's part of the system trying to keep us safe. So, of course, I'm here not talking about you standing on the highway and wanting to jump down and see if you can land the ground between 2 running cars. That's not what I'm talking about. It's not stupid things. But I'm talking about picking up the phone, having that conversation with a team member, or doing the things that needs to be done. That's kind of emotions I'm talking about. So imagine this one. Imagine your body like a river, all the blood in your body. So you'll see those two rivers. The one is dried up, nothing is flowing in it, it's just there, the water. And imagine the water might not be that healthy. And then in the next one, we got a live running river. And if you were to go pick up some water and drink it, which one would you drink from? Probably one with the live running water, right? Looks much more fresh. So it's the same thing in our body. If we got emotions, it's a picture for you. If we got emotions that's kind of stuck there, so every time we try to do something out of the comfort zone, it doesn't feel good. There's something stuck there, just like the river with no water here. So when we release the emotion, when we get this emotion out of our system, then it's going to run free again. It's going to run free again. Make sense? Good. Because it's the same thing here. The rubber band, when we talk about emotions, it's like a rubber band that will drag you into your comfort zone. It's just your body helping that part of you to keep you saving energy. And it's like your body is telling you this is dangerous. So again, when we feel these things, don't hide. That's the worst thing we can do, because if we hide from the emotions, and remember, it is just an emotion. If we hide, if we try to run away from it, we're just getting smaller and smaller in our comfort zone. So what we want to do is the opposite. We want to look fear in the eyes. We want to tame the cobra of fear. So when we feel this fear, we just need to do it. We just need to do it. And it's also a good idea is to release it. I'm not gonna go too much into this in this video. It might be, if you want it, I can create a video about this. Else ask in the Q&A calls. When I did seminars before, we worked some very, very powerful release exercises, because we can release the emotions, and which make us very like the life river here. We can really feel energy and life running through us. It's very vital. So, and if you feel like you need to release emotions and you don't know how to do it, ask me, or do a couple of sales and then go see a therapist or something to figure it out. But you're welcome to ask too. It's a process. What I've found out with my clients and myself is actually what is working is the combination. So when we feel something is like, don't do it, just do it. Convince ourselves with the conscious mind that I'm going to do this, and then do it. Don't think about it, just do it. And then work on releasing. Don't hide. When an emotion shows up, ask, why are you there? What is it you want to tell me? And then don't be afraid, even though it hurts and it's like you want to run away from it, just ask it. And you'll see that most of the times it's actually going to answer you. But you can just ask yourself, why is this emotion here? And it might be a conversation like this. I feel an emotion, I'm in a situation with a client or somebody, and I feel this emotion. And I'm like, well, something is not good here. So instead of running away from it, take a note. And when I got the time, I ask myself, so why is this emotion here? And then I answer. I said, well, I didn't like that person. And then I just ask the next question. So why didn't you like that person? And the next question, and the next answer might be, well, the person was saying some stupid things. Then just keep on. So what did the person say? Answer. So why didn't you like that? And what we want here is to figure out what is the root. What is the root of the emotion? And it could be something like, well, I had a feeling that this client was going to win over me. I don't want that. Okay, so now we're beginning to get somewhere. So that's, I'm seeing myself in the eyes and saying, okay, here it goes. So then I ask the next question, why don't I want the client to win over me? And it could be that here we come down to the same thing, the word I share with you, that, well, then I don't feel good enough. Okay, that's the root. So that's what we're going to work with. Just accepting this and finding out that this is the root. Something in our program that taught us this, maybe from our childhood, probably from there. It's a big part of it, because when we accept that, we can begin to work with it. So overcome this by doing the thing you fear. Doing the thing you fear. Don't hide. And like Bill Barron here says, fear is the only thing that gets smaller as you walk towards it. It's true. So next part here, and that's again, it's in the same area of all we talked about, but it's very important to understand it. And this is what you focus on. So I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to take in the next slide now and then ask you, what do you see? And then I'm going to ask you this question, what you focus on. I'm going to show you the next slide here and ask you, what do you see? White is positive, black is negative. What do you see? So for many people on the first slide, they would say, I see white. Okay. And on this one, many people will say, I see a black dot. Okay. Or they will say, I see a white area with a black dot on. The fact is, it's very difficult not to see the black dot, right? The fact is also that the black dot is just a small percentage of the whole white area here. But it's very difficult not to focus on it. Try to focus on somewhere else on the screen, but it's just like the black dot keeps attracting you, so you cannot avoid seeing it, right? Just try to test it out. Look around the screen. The black dot is still there. And it's so important to understand is that what you focus on expands. So if you begin to look at the black dot and just look at it, maybe even put your head closer to look at it, it's gonna be like it's expanding. Now you can maybe nearly only see the black dot. But there's so much white. And this is how the mind is going in our business or in our life too. It's going like this. There's a lot of good stuff happening, all the white stuff. But our mind, at least for some people, mind will trick us into looking at the negative stuff, which means it's weed in our garden. Right? We got all of these beautiful flowers and we're focusing on the weed. And when we focus on it, it's going to expand, it's going to grow. So be very, very careful with these techniques and take it very seriously in your life to really look for the good things. Be careful that you're working and training your mind and the little voice, because this is going to help you. And by the way, what I have experienced and what I know, and this is, it's psychology, yes, but it's also how it is. Because some people, they come and say, well, I have business problems. And I say, okay, where else do you have problems? What do you mean? It's not only business problems. This is something in the entrepreneur, in the business owner. There's something that's not working. And that's not only in the business. If there's something in the business that's not working, there's something elsewhere in their life that's not working. And I experienced this myself. If I had big trouble in family situation, well, I had troubles in my business too. If I couldn't close clients, I got emotional about it. Well, maybe I saw I had some emotions running with my daughter or a friend or something in my life. It's the same thing showing up. So just say thank you and don't run away from it. Look into it, figure out how can you work with this. Be a warrior and show up on the Q&A calls and ask about this, so we can help you. And for some it might change very, very fast. For some it will take longer, but you got the support here. You got the support in the group. Just remember, what you focus on expands. You want to focus on all the good things in your business, and there is bad things, of course, tough things, we'll take care of it. Or do you want to focus only on the things not as you want them to? Remember the tree where we talked about the roots and the fruits. The fruits are the results. We planted in the first weeks the roots that's going to help you. But now it's interesting. What do you focus on? Do you focus on the things that's not working, or you focus on the thing that's actually working? What you focus on expands. Should make sense, right? I trust you got it. So to help you here, I planted 5 gardens of a beautiful mind exercises, and I'll walk you through them. This is powerful stuff. Some people, they say, well, there's nothing new in this and all of that. No, there's nothing new in it, but it works. And that's the most important thing, if you do the work. So here we go. First of all, grateful exercise, and I'm going to walk you through them. So grateful exercise is like, we can do that right now. For instance, take 1 minute, take 2 minutes, doesn't need to be longer. And then just after I'm finished here, pause the video and do the exercise. For this one, take 2 minutes. Put your clock, put it to 2 minutes, and then pause the video and then write down at least 10 things you're very grateful for in your life and in your business. Write down at least 10 things, but as many as possible. So go ahead, 2 minutes, pause the video and do this now. And we'll come back. By now you should have written down at least 10 things you're grateful for in your life. So the feeling, the emotion grateful is a very powerful one. As I said, it's the most powerful one. It's a positive emotion that runs, like the river, runs through our system and put out a lot of great energy and great chemicals. So look down your list. Maybe even put your finger over the words. Look at them and just feel it. Really feel the things, people, team, business, all that you are grateful for in your life. Feel it. Just let the emotion run through you. And to do this even more powerful, breathe in. When you breathe in, just think and feel this positive emotion of this thing or this person or these people or whatever it is. And breathe out and just let it go. This is very powerful. Now, this exercise, I would suggest for you to do it at least once a day. Do it in the morning and do it in the evening too. At least once a day. Spend a couple of minutes on writing it down. Spend a couple of minutes of feeling it. And just know that you started your day off well better than not doing this, because you're focusing on the good things. Number 2 here is list down 5 things that I did good and 1 thing to improve. Here comes the thing about being perfect again, because I experienced that many of the clients I work with, when For instance, I have one client, she run a company and she goes through the place where all her team is working, and then she told me it's like she's always looking for the bad things. So she's like telling them 10 bad things, and then on day number 5, after 10 times 5, that's 50 bad things, she tells them one good thing. And she could not believe and understand why her team was not enthusiastic. So, well, you can use this in your team too. Your mind is also part of your team, right? So just take 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever, and write down 5 things I did good today. So at nighttime or morning time, then look at yesterday. 5 things I did good, and only 1 thing to improve. Celebrate the 5 things. Go crazy with the celebration. And the thing you can improve, use the debrief method. What happened? Why did that happen? And how can I improve? Got it? Number 3 is meditation. Meditation is very powerful. And science has shown that it relaxes the brain, it helps us to focus, and it also helps us to train, keep our little voice silent. There's a lot of meditation techniques. I meditated since I was 15 years. So it's like with the gym. If you go there once a month, you won't have the results. If you meditate once a month, you won't have the results. For some people, for some of my clients, when we talked about meditation and they started doing this, their mind went crazy with stories why not to do it. And even emotions came up why not to do it. Because this is out of the comfort zone too. The mind don't want us to be relaxed. So it's going to fight it, but we just need to understand this. So, like I said, there's a lot of meditation techniques. I'll share one with you that has been very helpful for me and for many of my clients. It's very simple, and it's like, you could also say it's a little hardcore because there's only one thing to do. And it's out of Zen. It's a Zen meditation. So the only thing you do is actually to count. You breathe in. 1. Out 1. Breathe in. 2. Out 2. Just sit like this and meditate. And you count to 10. So 1 breathe in out is 1. Breathe in, breathe out is 2. And you don't think about anything, just counting. And to 10, and when you reach 10, you just start all over. This go on and on and on. And it's a good idea to put the alarm clock, so you don't need to think about that. Could do it for 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 minutes. Maybe even 2 minutes in the beginning. It's just to get into the practice. And then just have some pen and paper beside you so you can note down what you experienced. Just do that every time. Just put down 2 or 3 most important experiences, because you're going to learn yourself and your little voice and your system. You're going to learn so much about yourself. So if you didn't do meditation before, this is just a suggestion. You can do this or not, but it's going to help you quiet the mind. It's going to help you grow your beautiful garden of the mind. And then there's technique number 4 here, and this is like sing, dance, and enjoy. Just let it all out. And this is kind of really funny thing, because you see, this is where the right brain, people who have right brainers, they love doing these things. I have clients who said, okay, so what you should do is just sing and dance. And they jumped up and sing and dance. And I was like, holy moly. And then I have clients who are obviously left brainers, and I said, okay, sing and dance. And they looked at me like I was crazy. So, but the thing is, when we do this, a lot of powerful chemicals will be pushed out from our brains and into our system, and we feel this. So if you've got family, do it with them. If you've got friends, do it with them. Just go crazy. Let it loose. Put music on, dance, enjoy, have fun. Let it all out. Technique number 4. And technique number 5. This is kind of a bragging exercise. And you can get together with some friends. You could even post this in the Facebook group. Just brag. Tell yourself a great story how good you are. Now, I know this is not like we're not supposed to do these things. That's a problem, right? Because we're not supposed to do it. We want to stay in our comfort zone. But go ahead and brag. Just really experience how you react to this and go ahead. Maybe you will even brag in the future because you're knowing you go there. So you just tell your friends, your family in Facebook group saying, I know this is going to happen. I will be the best at this. I will have helped like thousands of companies or people or something like that. I earn $1 million a month. I drive around in a Ferrari. I am the best lover. I'm the most fit person. I'm the happiest person. I'm just a great mom. I'm just a great dad. Whatever it is that makes you feel like, wow. But don't go small here. Go big. Explore yourself and have fun with this too. So that was 5 techniques. So next part here is transformation and staying in the heat. Now all of this happening to you, it is a journey. You are on a journey. Business is a journey. Life is a journey. And remember, you can either grow or die. As you grow, your results will grow too. That's how it is. Your results will grow too. You focus on your business and you do the work. You grow, your results will grow. And you will get bigger, you'll get better, and you will be able to give even more. You'll be more beautiful and attracting. That's how it is. And then there's some people saying, well, rich people is stupid or they are not very nice and all of that. And yeah, maybe some are not. But the ones that I know that makes a lot of money, they are very good people and they give a lot away and they help a lot of people. And of course, there's also, how can I say that? There's smiling people that's rich. There's not smiling people that's rich. That's nothing to do with being rich. That's the person. So, of course, you want to be a person who is happy, who is giving, who is helping. And I trust by you is that you also want to be a person who is making a lot of money. So, transformation comes from the word transform, because this is what it's all about. This journey. Transform. So, as you see here, I put in from our friend Google. What is transform? Synonyms. It's like change, alter, modify, convert, metamorphose, transfigure, transmute, mutate, and more. This is when we are growing, right? We are transforming. Antonyms, which means is the opposite of the word transform. This is preserve or keep the same. That's staying in the comfort zone. That's staying where you are. And that's not where you want to be, right? So this is a transformation. The whole journey is a transformation. So you don't want to stay where you are. That's why you're here in this program. And you are transforming into a new you. You're transforming into the you, the one that do the results. Live the life and has the business that you want. So how do we transform? Here we go. I told you I would challenge a little bit about the red one here. Because like you see, the green one on this drawing is the optimal performance zone. Which means we're out of the comfort zone and we grow. We grow and our comfort zone gets bigger and all of this. Transformation. What takes people out of the game is that when transformation is happening in the business and life, it's gonna be chaotic, it's gonna be stormy, it's gonna be painful most of the times. That is transformation. We're transmuting. So just knowing this is helping a lot of people to understand, wow, I'm transforming now. When things hurt, when the business is tough, for some people, even when they make the decision of coming into this program, that was kind of their transformation, because it was a tough decision. So we need to understand this. So actually, when we are at that point where it gets really tough, that's where we are transforming ourselves. Now, I'm challenging this danger zone because Navy SEALs, who is supposed to be one of the strongest and best trained elite units in the whole world, I know that they say that when we are, as human beings, at a point where we say, I can't do anymore, I'm finished, it hurts, I'm done. When we say that, we are at 40%, which means we've got 60% more to deliver. But our mind or our body just try to keep us in the comfort zone. So we gotta stay in the heat. We got to stay in the heat, which means that we need to get uncomfortable and love the transformation and just understand it's like it is and enjoy it. And when the storm or the chaos is strongest, it's actually there where the transformation is happening. I remember for many clients, but I remember from not that far ago, I was talking with one of my clients, and what she told me is that it was very stormy, it was very tiring and all of that, and we agreed on that she was in the middle of the storm, which also means that a couple of steps more and she was out, and she grown stronger, bigger, and it would have a huge impact on her team and on her business. She confirmed that, and she's just continuing to grow. So we need to stay in the heat. And some examples for this, because the thing about getting uncomfortable, well, here's some ideas for you, because we want to trick ourselves. One part of us want to trick ourselves to stay in the comfort zone to save energy. We want to do the opposite. We want to stay in the heat. We want to challenge ourselves all the time. So here's some ideas. For instance, when you go to the shower, take a shower, but finish it off with a very cold shower. I know there's some healthy things in this, but it's also uncomfortable. So this is like helping yourself understand and just enjoy that it's uncomfortable. And again, I told this before in one of the videos, maybe you wake up like 6 o'clock in the morning, wake up like 5 o'clock in the morning. This is uncomfortable? Yes, it is. But you're helping yourself understand this is uncomfortable. I even know some of my clients, what they did during the winter is they, to be uncomfortable, they took off their jackets and they just went out in t-shirts. They didn't get sick. Yes, they were freezing, but they also understood that it was kind of a mindset thing. So they knew this was uncomfortable, but they trained their mind to be there, stay in the heat, or the cold for this matter. So think about what can you do in your life that's uncomfortable, but that will help you to train yourself to be outside the comfort zone. Some business owners, they are at a point where they need to really stretch it. That could mean do a marathon or jump out of a bridge or something like that. And for the other, it's more like, it's not that heavy things, because for them it's more like actually picking up the phone. Just look at it and be honest with yourself. Maybe make a list. I would actually suggest to you right now, make a list. At least 5 things that you don't like doing. that's uncomfortable for you. Write that down right now. 5 things that's uncomfortable right now. And if you didn't write it down, just pause the video and do that. 5 things. And then commit to yourself to do these things. I don't care what it is, just do it. And actually, I want to take this a step further, because I'm going to ask you now, what is the thing that you fear the most to do? What is the thing that you really don't want to do? The one thing you don't want to do. Write that down right now. Good. If you didn't do it, just pause the video and write it down. The one thing you don't want to do. And now, I will ask you, and this is up to you to do this or not. I'll ask you to do it. So commit to yourself. Say, when will I have done this? And then do it. And I can share with you, when I did this exercise myself, I wrote down, call up my mother and tell her I love her. And you know what? That was the most scary thing for me in many years. So my mind tried to take me out of that game. My emotions tried to take me out of that game. And I was supposed to do it one time. Then I delayed it for 2 hours. And then I delayed it for another 2 hours because my mind told me that she was probably at work and all of these things. So, but then at last I said, no. I did it. I called her up and I told her, Mother, I really want to share something with you. Now, when I say things like that with my mother, her reaction is, should I sit down? Because either I was getting married or I was having a kid or I was broke. So she's used to big stuff. And I was like, I don't know if you want to sit down. This is a very big thing for me. And she was just like waiting. So I think there was like, it felt like hours going on. It might have been 7 seconds. And then I went like, well, what I want to share with you, Mother, is that, here we go. Yeah, what I want to share with you is that, and then I went, I love you. And there was completely silence in the other end. And I was like, oh my God, is she crying or something? We never spoke of these things in our family. So after a long time, she came back, and this was a long time, and she said, yes. And I said, that's what I want to share. And she was like, is that all? And I was like, yeah, that was very big for me. And she started laughing, and she said, you know what, you're crazy. I do love you. I said, yeah, but we never say these things. No, we didn't do in my family either, but I love you. So we had the talk. It was very good. It was so uncomfortable. It was so much fear in me. But in me, there was nothing to be fearful of. So I know and understand this. And I just challenge you, whatever you wrote down you don't want to do it. So that was the get uncomfortable part. Then, love the transformation. Really love the transformation. Understand that you are growing into something bigger and better and more caring, and you can help more people this way. That's where you're going. And understand it's like it is, and enjoy it. And when the storm or the chaos is strongest, the transformation is happening. So, transformation, here's some examples. This is from kid to grown up. And it's called puberty transformation. That's not easy for a human being going through this. A lot of things are happening. It's hurting, emotions, and a lot of things going on. But that's transformation. Growing into something stronger, something that can reproduce. So that's one transformation. Not easy. Here's another transformation. Caterpillar going into a butterfly. And only one animal there is the caterpillar. It's in the trees, and the other one is the butterfly. It's flying around. It's very beautiful. They eat different things. That's a transformation. Now the thing about this is, caterpillar's transformation is so hurtful because this is two different things. It's the same, but this is a lot with enzymes and hormones, and this is really painful according to science. It's the most painful experience. But again, look how beautiful the butterfly is. Now, we don't want to be a butterfly and going left and right when we're going towards our goals. But for this example, the transformation is painful. But what would you rather be? So here's a transformation exercise for you. And this is who are you. So what you're going to do is you're going to describe your character, who you are today, as detailed as possible. Don't be like good or bad. Don't judge yourself on anything. Just be as detailed as possible and do it in words and be honest. So it could be something like, well, now this is a fictive one. I am Mads. I am 45 years old. I live with my wife. I am kind of happy. I have 2 kids. I feel I'm not like a good dad for them. My business is quite good. I am most of the time smiling. I'm not going to gym. I am not being very friendly towards new people. Just write down all of these things. Write it all down. And you're going to do right now. So pause the video, take 10 minutes, and then just come back after. And welcome back. So by now you should have written down, who are you today? Your character today. Describe your character today. If you didn't do this, I want you to stop the video and do it. And if you did do it, congratulations, good job. That's where we are today. So next part of this transformation exercise is, who do you want to be? In this part, describe the character, you living your dream life. You know, you made your vision board, you used your left part of the brain to write down your dream life. In this exercise, write down the person who is living your dream life. You, that transformed you. And again, as detailed as possible in words. This time you could even find some pictures, maybe of some role models, and get excited here. So one thing is where we are now. Remember the butterfly. And one thing is, where do you want to be as a person in the future? And take 15 minutes for this one and really enjoy it. Really dig into it and see, this is who I want to be. This is the person who's running my business, who's helping a lot of people. 15 minutes, pause the video, and then come back after. Go. And welcome back. By now you should have also written down your future character. Very important exercise. And the thing with this one is, already now you set this in motion too. So begin to be that character that you want to be in the future. The character that lives your life. Be that character. Maybe you wrote down that character is eating at some very nice restaurants. Maybe you don't have the money, but then go and have a coffee at those restaurants. Be that person. Maybe you wrote down that person is so smiling. Maybe you're not smiling now, but be that person. Just begin to smile. So walk towards the person that you want to become. This is transformation. Got it? Cool. So I want to share one thing more with you here, because when does all the change happen? The fact is, some of my clients, they experience changes right away. They experience sales coming in, they experience themselves being much more confident, and that their business is growing and it's really working good. For some it will take longer. And that's why I created, so you can stay in the program and the Facebook and the Q&A calls to help you to really stay on your journey. And remember, all of this is staying in the heat. Keep doing the work. I have an example for you here. This example is, how long does it actually take for it to grow so high? This is Chinese bamboo, and this is real stuff from the real world, from nature, from the universe. And here's some data. The Chinese bamboo, it needs It needs nursing, like your success does, and your future character does. It needs water, air, and care. So the story is that the Chinese farmer, he goes and he waters his Chinese bamboo, and there's nothing. There's nothing. It's all underground. Nothing happens. Not day one, not week one, not month one, not year one, not year two, not year 3, 4, 5. Nothing happens. The Chinese farmer, he just walks out every day and takes care of the earth. Nothing happens. Talk about patience, huh? But then after 5 years, in just 6 weeks, the Chinese bamboo grows 80 feet in 6 weeks. And that's more than 24 meters. That's tall and that's really fast. So you could actually watch it growing. So interesting here, how long did it take? Was it the 6 week or was it the 5 years? Now your business, well, if you put in the work, it will not take you 5 years to reach your goals. But you got to stay in the heat, you got to do the work, you got to make sure that you take care of your business, do the things that you need to do. Sometimes the results, they will come very fast, sometimes it will take longer. And for most people, if it takes longer, it's like accumulating. Maybe you don't see it, but it's there. Just keep on doing the work and suddenly, boom, it's going to show up, and it's going to show up very fast and very massive. And that's success. And then you can clap yourself on the back and say, I did it. So it's a very powerful video, like I mentioned in the beginning. We covered a lot. And if you look through the whole video now, just for that one, I want to congratulate you, and you do the same for yourself. We covered what is the biggest problem when we talk about achieving your goals. And again, we came back to the same thing. It's you, it's me. And the next thing we talked about, why are these problems there? Why are they there? It's thoughts and emotions. And I shared my story with you. I shared the human being, the drawing with the mind, conscious mind, subconscious mind, and the body. Thinking, autopilot, and feeling and emotions. Then I shared with you the rubber band effect. The rubber band that keeps you, they want to drag you back into the comfort zone. And I shared with you escaping the rubber band effect. What to do to escape that, which means I gave you some exercises for the mind, and we also talked about emotions, what to do there. And I shared with you the garden of the mind, and there's a poster for you so you can print that out to remind you of all of this stuff. It's so important. And I went through an exercise with you about what you focus on, and what you focus on is what expands. So keep focusing on the good things and take care of the things that's not working. Then I talked about transformation, about staying in the heat, and I show you some transformation examples. And also you created the exercises about you now as a character and the character you want to be in the future. And you are already on that journey, transforming yourself. And then as the final one here, I showed you an example which should give you some thoughts about when does it all change. Maybe we don't see the changes at first, but they are there. It's all happening. We just need to do the work. So great, powerful video here. And If you did the exercises, I congratulate you. If you didn't do it, I would really suggest for you to go back and do them, and just print out the Garden of Mind poster that I did for you, hang it up so you remember it. And that's all for this video, and I will see you in the next video. Michael Plusik is out for now.